Most people can tell you exactly what's causing their stress. Work deadlines, financial pressures, family responsibilities, traffic, the never-ending list of things that need to get done. And while all these things can absolutely contribute to stress, there's one potential source that rarely makes the list: your home. Welcome back to the Renovation Secrets podcast, where we unravel some of the uncomfortable truths about our homes and the renovation industry. I'm Natalia Pierce, a certified master kitchen and bath designer and well-accredited professional. After over 20 years in the industry, I've started to take a different approach to how I look at a project. In this episode, we're going to discuss what homes might be doing to us. Now, before you think I've completely lost my mind, hear me out. When we think about our homes, we tend to think of them as passive. They're simply a place where life happens, a roof over our heads, four walls that provide shelter and comfort. But what if that's not entirely true? What if your home isn't just a backdrop for your life? What if it's actively influencing how you feel every single day? Emerging research from neuroscience, environmental psychology, building science, and public health suggests that our environments have a much greater impact on our mental and physical well-being than most people realize. The light reaching your eyes, the air you're breathing, the sounds around you, the colors, materials, and patterns surrounding you, even how easily you move through your home, or maybe not. There may be small things that frustrate you or annoyances that you've just learned to live with. These environmental factors are consistently being processed by your brain, whether you're consciously aware of them or not. And when these factors are working against us instead of for us, they can quietly contribute to stress, fatigue, irritability, poor sleep, and even reduced cognitive performance. Today, I want to explore a simple but powerful question. What if some of your stress isn't coming from the things going on in your life, but from the environment you're living in? One of the most fascinating things about the human brain is that it never stops collecting information from its surroundings. Even if you're not constantly or consciously paying attention, your brain is constantly scanning your environment. It's looking for patterns, assessing safety, processing visual information, monitoring sounds, interpreting light, and evaluating comfort. In fact, researchers estimate that our brains process an astonishing amount of information every second, with the vast majority occurring below conscious awareness. Think about that for a moment. While you're making breakfast, answering emails, helping your kids, or relaxing on the couch, your brain is simultaneously processing thousands of environmental inputs. Most of the time, this happens effortlessly. But when those inputs create friction, your nervous system notices. Maybe not consciously, but biologically, and that's where stress can begin. Stress isn't always emotional. When we hear the word stress, we think of emotional stress, an argument, a difficult project, a financial challenge. But your body doesn't necessarily distinguish between emotional stress and environmental stress. Stress is simply the body's response to a demand placed on it. And those demands come from the environment just as easily as they can come from your schedule. Poor sleep is a stressor, noise can be a stressor, poor air quality is definitely a stressor, visual chaos, physical discomfort is a stressor. Your body responds to all of them, not because it's weak, because it's designed to. Your nervous system is constantly asking one simple question: am I safe and comfortable here? When the answer is yes, the body can relax. When the answer is uncertain, stress levels begin to rise. Let's look at a few examples. Lighting. Most people don't think much about lighting beyond whether they can see. You walk into a room, you flick on a switch, and there you go. But light is one of the most powerful biological signals our bodies receive. The timing, intensity, the quality of light influence our circadian rhythms, sleep patterns, alertness, mood, and hormone production. And yet most homes are so poorly lit. Dark kitchens, insufficient task lighting, excessive glare, spaces that feel dim all day or overly bright at night. Your brain and body have evolved under predictable patterns of daylight and darkness. Modern lighting often ignores these biological needs entirely. The result is fatigue, poor sleep, reduced focus, and potentially increased stress. Now let's talk about something you can't see, and that's the air inside our home. Many people assume that if the air doesn't smell bad, it's fine. Unfortunately, that's not always true. Indoor air can contain elevated levels of carbon dioxide, volatile organic compounds, particulate matter, allergens, and other contaminants. Even modest increases in carbon dioxide have been shown to affect cognitive function and decision making. Poor ventilation can leave occupants feeling sluggish, tired, mentally drained. The challenge is that because air is invisible, most people never even consider it, yet we breathe roughly 20,000 times per day. The quality of those breaths really matter. Here's another one. Noise. And I'm not talking about the jackhammer outside your window. I'm talking about the constant low-level sound many of us have simply learned to tolerate. Bathroom fans, overhead range hood fans, mechanical equipment, traffic outside, neighborhood noise, echoing open spaces, hum of appliances, televisions playing in the background. Our brains are constantly processing sound, even when we're not actively listening. Studies have shown that unwanted noise can increase stress hormones, elevate blood pressure, interfere with concentration, and certainly disrupt sleep. Yet many homes are designed with almost no consideration for acoustics. We spend thousands of dollars on countertops and appliances while completely overlooking one of the most influential factors affecting daily comfort. Now let's discuss something that most people have experienced without realizing it: visual stress. Cluttered countertops, busy patterns, poor organization, excessive visual complexity, lack of storage, chaotic sightlines. Our brains are incredibly efficient pattern recognition machines, but that processing requires energy. When our environments are visually overwhelming, our brains must work harder to interpret what we're seeing. This can contribute to feelings of mental fatigue and cognitive overload. Sometimes what people describe as feeling unsettled in a room has nothing to do with the aesthetics. Their brain is simply working overtime. Finally, let's talk about comfort, or more specifically, the lack of it. A narrow doorway that catches your shoulder every day, a poorly placed storage, heavy doors, awkward layouts, insufficient counter space, constantly bending, reaching, carrying, or navigating obstacles. Individually, these seem insignificant, but stress isn't always caused by one major event. Sometimes it's the accumulation of hundreds of tiny frustrations repeated day after day. Great design removes friction. Poor design creates it, and your body keeps score. The real problem isn't perfection. At this point, you may be wondering if every home is secretly trying to ruin your life. Thankfully, no. This isn't about creating fear. It's certainly not about creating perfection. The goal isn't to create a flawless home. The goal is awareness. And because you've become aware of how your environment influences you, you begin to see your home differently. You stop asking, how does my home look? And start asking, how does my home make me feel? Does it support my sleep? Is it supporting my focus and recovery and even my health? These are a few very different questions, and they often lead to a very different discussion. For generations, we've designed homes primarily around aesthetics, function, and cost. And while those things matter, and they always will, perhaps the next evolution of residential design isn't simply creating homes that look beautiful. Perhaps it's creating homes that actively support the people living inside them. Because the truth is, your environment is never neutral. It is either helping you or hindering you, supporting your biology or working against it, reducing stress or quietly contributing to it. So I'll leave you with this question. If your home influences how you think, feel, sleep, and recover, and perform every day, shouldn't we be paying more attention to how it's designed? Thank you for listening. I'm Natalia Pierce, and this has been Renovation Secrets. Until next time, the next evolution of design isn't what we build, it's who we build for. Credits for our intro music is for Hill Makes Music. Check them out on Spotify.